today I'm going to walk you through the stages of making my new clutch design, which is made using fabric, not vinyl, and something else called craft foam. It's basically A4, because obviously the design is A4. It's A4 foam sheet. You can get it from Amazon, eBay. Just look up the foam paper that children use to make little projects. So that's all I'm using, and you basically stitch out the outline of the bag onto your stabilizer and then put your foam over the top. If you don't have foam, you could try using felt, or there's something else, I can't remember what it's called. Basically you just need something to give the fabric a little bit of stiffness, so the bag doesn't just like flop. So this is the bag that you will be making. I've called it the cloth Chloe clutch on my files, because it's basically made from fabric. So it's got a satin edge around. All the exposed edges will be satin edged to finished. If you have the Chloe clutch, the original Chloe clutch made for vinyl, you could use the satin outline to add on to the vinyl version, because they use the same net, so they've got the same outline and the same lines, but there's different processes. I haven't made it as an add-on because this is a lot more complex than the vinyl version, so there's a lot more stages in this version than the other version. So when you stitch out your foam, you need to cut it out afterwards using applique scissors or a craft knife if you're very careful, and you cut between the lines, between the sections, because if you just have it as one whole sheet, you don't get these beautiful corners. You'll just get it like rounded corners and it doesn't look as nice. So I've had my husband and my daughter and my son-in-law to be check this bag out for me, and they've given it a thumbs up. So yeah, fabric on the inside, pocket on the inside just like the Chloe clutch, and the seams down the side of the bag are satin edged, so there's no exposed seams anywhere. And I've also not trimmed this corner. I haven't snipped it, I've left it in because it works out really quite well. One of my ladies on my group, on my Facebook group, mentioned that she doesn't snip it and it works just fine. So I thought, I wonder. So I tried it and it did work. So, and it works out really well. So right, basically I'm going to talk you through doing this design now. It takes a little longer than the original Chloe clutch because obviously it's got to stitch out all of the sections for the foam to be cut out. And obviously you've got the satin stitch, which takes longer, and you need to cut around the design using applique scissors as well, because obviously it's got a satin stitch. I'll stop waffling now, I promise, and I'll just walk you through the process of making the cloth Chloe clutch. So I have already stitched out the outline onto my stabilizer. I'm using a medium weight stabilizer, a tearaway stabilizer. If you are worried about getting fluffy edges on the satin stitch, you can use water soluble, you know, the fabric version, water soluble stabilizer, or you could even use clear stabilizer, clear vinyls, table protector, and you could use that as well. But I'm using what I've got, which is medium weight tearaway stabilizer, and I'll run a lighter along the edge just to get rid of the fuzziness on the edge. Okay, so I am actually going to stop waffling and I'll take you down here You might need to adjust the height of your foot, because obviously if you're using the foam paper, the craft foam, it's about 2mm higher, so you might find that your foot doesn't just hover over it, it drags it. So lift your foot up, go into the settings and just lift your foot up. I think I've got my foot point at 2.5mm. So all I'm going to do now is stop talking. Okay, right, so I'm going to take you down, and I've been talking for like 6 minutes near enough, so sorry. I'm going to make a gingerbread one today using this fabric. So this fabric is great because it's got gingerbreads in all different directions. So the back of the clutch will have an upside down gingerbread, but it really doesn't matter. And the inside I'm going to use candy stripes. Okay, so I'm going to take you down now. And I'm going to move you into here. Might need to take you back up again actually. Yeah, you can't see anything, can you? Okay, I think that's about it. I think so. Okay. Right, so yeah, all I'm going to do now is stitch out. As you can see, the foot is hovering above it. My thread is not threaded, so 1 second. Right, okay, let's do it again. Right, now I need to cut out these panels that I've stitched in, and I'm going to try and do it here so that you can see how easy it is to cut out. So basically all I do is I pull the foam paper up and cut along the whole line. That's one bit. 2 bits. See if I can get this bit done over here. Curves a little bit more tricky when you haven't got a lot of room, but I'll do the best that I can. Yep. And then you need to cut in between these lines here. So again, a little snip and just cut the whole lot off. That's one. You could use a craft knife if you wanted to, but I have, I've done it with a craft knife and I've managed to cut through into the stabiliser. It's not so bad because I'm not really stitching onto the foam, the craft foam, but it's still easier using the applique scissors or little scissors that you use. And then what I need to do, now I've cut all these bits off, throw them in the bin, and you can see this is the flap, this is the spine on the top of the flap, this is the back, this is the bottom flap, the bottom piece, and this is going to be the bit that goes underneath the flap on the front of the bag. So I'll put the hoop back into the machine. Move the machine back because obviously it's the biggest hoop and it bangs onto the back. Pull the thread back through. And what I need to do is I need to add the lining to the underside. Now I'm going to use red and white stripes, and I am going to add it to the back like that. So because I haven't ironed my fabric, I'm going to use a little bit of temporary adhesive spray and add that, and it gets all the creases out. That's it. So I can see that it covers the whole of the design because we've got the stitched line on there already. So what it's going to do now is give me the placement for the inside pocket, just like it does on the original Chloe clutch. And we need to add the pocket to the back of the hoop. You've got your placement guide here that is just stitched out, and I think I am going to use the gingerbread fabric as a pocket. I think that looked pretty sweet. So I'm just going to cut it up now. I was going to use the stripe. Is that going to be enough? Yeah. Do you think? Yep. Right, okay. I'm just going to add a bit of adhesive spray on this as well, because I haven't ironed it. Should really iron it. Yeah, be alright. And I'm going to tape that in place. So that it doesn't move when I put the hoop back on. I put a bit on the top and a bit on the bottom as well. So a bit on there and a bit on there. I think it's time I need to clean my hoops. I've got my hoops are a bit grubby looking. Okay, let's put it back on. And it will stitch out the outline of the pocket one more time. Remove the hoop from the machine, turn it over, and using your applique scissors, remove the fabric from the outer line. Remove it all, because the next step is a satin stitch. Because it's this bag, this clutch, is made using fabric. I didn't want any raw edges. So I've added satin stitches to all of the edges, which, like I say, you could use the satin stitches on the original Chloe clutch if you wish. Let's put that in my little bin, and I'm going to remove that as well. Don't need that on there. Put that in my bin. And again, we put the hoop back onto the machine and it will stitch out a satin stitch around the pocket. seems to take forever. This is why I don't really enjoy doing satin, because to me it just takes too long. Anyway, get back to it. Right, so we're going to add gingerbread. As you can see, my foam paper is red and this is cream. So my red is going to show through a little bit, only a little bit. It's not going to be anything to worry about. But I'm going to spray it a little bit with temporary adhesive. And now I need to add the fabric over the top. So hold on a minute, let me have a look, let me think. Okay, so that's the flap. So the flap, I'm going to put it upside down for me now, because the flap is going to go downwards, isn't it? So what do I want on my flap? I think I want a gingerbread man on there. Yeah, so a gingerbread. So yeah, think about your fabric and where you want things to be. So I want a nice big ginger man on the front flap of my bag. So that's the gingerbread man down there. So I'm going to stitch this down now, and this is going to be the front flap. I think I've got it around the right way. Yeah. Okay, now that section is done. I need to remove the fabric from the bottom and the top of the bag, the clutch, from the top of the hoop and the underside of the hoop. So I'm just going to remove that now. You don't have to remove it from the sides because you haven't got a satin stitch on the side edge, the two sides that go together, but you do on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to remove the hoop, makes it a little bit easier. Try and keep it here so you can see what I'm doing. I mean, if you want to remove it all, you can, but there is no need. Now that that's been removed from the top, I'm going to remove it from the underneath as well. You're going to need to make sure, if you're going to change your outline, you're going to need to make sure that your top and your bottom thread, top and bottom threads are matching. I'm just going to keep mine white just to make it easier. See a little bit better now. Okay, so we've got a little thread there. Let's trim that off. So you can see that my pocket has a satin edge now. And what's going to happen now is make sure I've got enough bobbin. Yeah, I think I have. Pop it back in. It's going to do the satin edge. So first of all, it will do the underlines zigzag, and then it will do a satin stitch. I think it's going to come right out on thread. No, this one. It's just on the satin stitch, and I've put a row of bean stitch, wide stitches underneath the satin stitch, and now it's just going to do the other section. And that's it, it's completed. The last stitch on the machine is a stitch just to stop it from collaborating into the middle, so the last one you just need to ignore. And if you have a look, get that out, if you have a look, you can see that the tearaway stabiliser has just teared away, so I'm not bothered about it, because I'll run a lighter over it and get rid of the whole lot all at once. So that is that section done. The next bit we need to do is we need to sew the sides up. So I'm just going to cut this out now, trying to do it so that you can see every step that I do. Now I'm not going to snip the edges, I'll show you in a minute. Let's get that away. Right, I'm not going to snip the edges of this bit here, I'm going to keep it in. One of the ladies on my group, my Facebook group, said that she left it in and it works fine, so I thought, oh well, I'll try, see how it goes. And it works just fine. Okay, I'll do that after. Anyway, so that's the inside pocket. This is the flap, and this is the bit that goes the bit that goes. I'm trying to kind of concentrate on what I'm doing and talk to you at the same time. It's quite tricky. Right, okay, so now we need to get the 4x4 hoop, which mine is here, and just need to put the stabiliser in my hoop as quickly as I possibly can. Right, done that. I'm going to change my bobbin thread now because there's not much left on it and I think it's going to run out part way through. So I use the pre-wound bobbins. I don't know about what you use, but my machine's fine with the pre-wound. So I buy a box of 144 at a time. Right, let's move it over to the smaller hoop with the satin edge. Give me my guides. I'm going to keep the white in there, white thread. Can you believe we're nearly Christmas already? God, where's the year gone? Let's stop that. Put that up. Okay, so with the other Chloe clutch, I suggested going from the top down to the bottom. On this one, because I'm not cutting this out, I suggest flipping it over and doing the bottom first and making sure that this matches up perfectly the bottom. So you lower your needle. I know that some of you are doing this on your sewing machine, and that's fine. This is for people that haven't got access to a sewing machine. I want it to look nice and tidy for them. So I've lowered my needle into the top corner, and I'm just going to lower that now. And I'm making sure that these bottom corners are sitting over each other and over the guideline that I've just stitched. Right, let's get this stitched down. It's just going to stitch now a satin edge finish. and all I'm going to do is gently tear this off. There we go. Yeah, got a few bits of, this is the cotton, and all I'll do to tidy that up is just take my scissors and just cut them off. That's done. And now for the other side. This is what's happening. Look, it's these little bits there from the. You could probably put fray check on your fabric, which will eliminate that. I don't have any fray check, so I've got to use what I've got, which is nothing. Match them up. Lower your needle down into the top corner so that you know it's in the right place. Put both the edges together, lay them over the stitched line. You don't really need to tape this because it doesn't tend to move. A little bit trickier with vinyl, but this one doesn't really move. What we got? What's happened? Oh, it's twisted around the needle. Yeah, it twisted right around the needle, I don't know why. There we go. Something's gone wrong! I just hate it when things go wrong. Right, let me have a look. I'll sort it out and come back to you. No idea why I did that. And again, what it's going to do is just stay there. If it went back into the middle of the hoop, you run the risk of it ripping out, ripping your design. So I've added an extra step in there, don't need to do it. So you just need to remove this now from the hoop. And then tidy up bits and bobs. Okay, so I am going to try and show you how to add the bag clasps. I don't know whether the machine, the camera is going to conk out on me or not, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be okay. But first, before I do go, I'm going to show you quickly how to get rid of these little frayed bits of the stabilizer. Basically you just need a lighter, and you run the lighter over. Don't hold it on too long. That's that bit done. That bit's done. And that bit's done. Well, basically all it does is it just gets rid of the bits of paper, the fluffy bits of paper. Okay, so we're going to turn this inside out, and this will be finished, almost. See, I haven't snipped the corners, and they worked fine. And now we're going to add bag closure. That's the bag so far. Oh, look at that, nearly. Almost. It might, you know what, it might. Wouldn't that be fabulous? Oh, but it's not going to fit there. Damn. Oh, that would have been so good. Never mind. Could have carried that pattern on. But yeah, the back is upside down. The front is not upside down. So choose your fabric wisely, because this one will be upside down. If you want to not have upside down fabrics, go for the 6x10 version, because the 6x10 version is in 3 separate bits, but you will have a join there, and you'll have a join on the inside. Okay, so let's go over to the desk. Very, very carefully. Let's put you down. There's my workroom and all my mess. And let's go over to here. You twist you around there. Okay, so I think that's as best we're going to get it. Okay, so we're going to add one of these bag clasps to the bag now. I keep all my bag clasps and all my bits and pieces all sorted out. These ones are magnetic, and these are the ones that I'm going to be using today. These are the new ones that I've got that I will be designing something for. Haven't got it yet. Haven't designed it yet, I mean. So we need one of those, one of those, one of those, and one of those. And what we need is a craft knife. So I've got one on there, my craft knife. Underneath is my cutting mat, and you'll need some sort of a hammer. And basically this here, can I get any closer? Can I get you any closer? No, not that one. Okay, I'll move everything down so you can see. Oh, that's a bit better. Okay, so the sun's shining in the UK today, yay. Okay, so this has 2 little prongs, and these are going to be our guides for the bag. And this is the back of this one. Okay, so on the design I've given you a little guide here. You can add a pop-out or a snap, or you can use it as a guide to add these bag closures. And you push in, straighten your prongs up, and you push in the prongs, making sure that you can see the little guide in the centre, and just push it down so it gives you a little indentation into the fabric, and turn it around and do it both ways. So you should be able to see you've got yourself 4 little push marks in your fabric, and use that as your square to cut out, because that is where you're going to be putting your bag closure. got to go through 2 layers of fabric and a layer of foam, and obviously your stabiliser as well. So we've got all these little bits of fabric. Let's get rid of those because we don't want to see them. Make our bag look rubbish. This is the one that we want, so this one goes on the top of the bag. Push your little prongs through, make sure that this feels like it's straight. Get all of those hairy bits of fabric and then put the back over it like that. Okay, and then push the prongs down into the little space that has been added, and then give it a little tap, and that's the front of the closure added to the bag. Now we're going to add this part here, and again you've got a little guide right there, so make sure that that's in the centre of this hole, and then use these prongs and just push yourself a little guide so that you can see that you've got 2 guides to cut. Poor gingerbread man. Oh dear, I'm sorry Gingy. And then get your craft knife and just poke in the holes, and then poke your bag. I don't even know what that's called, bag button, and then add this to the inside of the bag and push the little prongs on top of each other. Go the other way if you want to, but don't need to. Right, and then that needs to be banged a little bit, so if you want to, you could add a little bit of a backing fabric or a circle of felt or something, so that this is not seen, this bag of the closure. But that is it finished. There you go. So that's my second Christmas one done. Ta-da! And that's my first Christmas one done. Ta-da! Hope you found the this informative, and it has. I'll see you. I hope you found the look at all my stuff behind me. Oh my goodness. Let's go in here. Let's go here. Yeah, I hope you found it informative, and you are ready to give it a go. Sorry it's taken me so long to get this video finished, but I do waffle, can't help it, I'm always talking. Yeah, and if you haven't already, come and join us on Facebook. It is called Lisey Designs in the Hoop Embroidery UK. So come and join us. One of my mods will let you in, and you can come and join us and our chats and our banter, and you can upload whatever you make as well. So thanks for joining me today, and have a lovely rest of the day. Bye bye.